The discovery. The Galactic Union vessel Harmony drifted silently through the crimson clouds of the Vortex Nebula, its sensors probing the swirling gases and radiation fields that made this region of space deadly to most forms of life. Captain Zeltora stood on the bridge, her crystalline exoskeleton catching the light from the ship's bioluminescent walls. As a Lyridian, she had evolved on a world of perfect stability. Consistent temperature, gentle gravity, and filtered sunlight, which had produced a species of remarkable intelligence but fragile constitution. Anomalous reading at Vector 87.3. Captain, announced Science Officer Nex, his gelatinous form pulsing with subtle lights as he processed the incoming data. Metal composition. Artificial structure. Captain Zeltora's antenna twitched with interest. A ship. Out here. Affirmative. And Captain. Nex's voice modulator vibrated with confusion. It's moving through the densest radiation belt. That should be impossible. The radiation levels in the Vortex Nebula would break down most known hull materials within days. Even Harmony, with its advanced biological shielding, could only withstand limited exposure. On screen, ordered Zeltora. The main display shifted to reveal a vessel unlike any in the Union registry. It was rugged, functional, with none of the elegant organic curves that characterize Union design philosophy. Patches of scorched metal suggested recent repairs, and oddly shaped protrusions jutted from its hull at irregular intervals. Life signs? The captain inquired. Nex's form shuddered slightly. Yes, but the readings don't match any known species. And Captain, the internal environment of the vessel. His voice trailed off. What about it? It contains oxygen levels that would cause combustion in Lyridian tissues. Gravity at nearly twice Union standard. Radiation inside the vessel that would kill most sentient species within hours. Temperature variations that should make sustainable life impossible. A chill ran through the bridge crew. Every Union member knew what that meant. A death world species, whispered Security Chief Vex, her chitinous plates clicking together nervously. Death worlds were rare, planets with conditions so extreme that evolution took brutal, efficient pathways. Species from such environments were theoretical nightmares, resilient beyond reason, adapted to conditions that the Union's finest minds considered universally lethal. The Union had catalogued thousands of worlds, and only a handful were classified as potential death worlds. None had produced spacefaring civilizations. Until now. Open a communication channel, Zeltora ordered after a moment of consideration. Union protocol was clear. Peaceful contact whenever possible. Channel open, confirmed Communications Officer Leary. Unknown vessel, this is Captain Zeltora of the Galactic Union ship Harmony. We come in peace and wish to establish communication. The bridge crew waited in tense silence. After several moments, the speakers crackled to life. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Mining Consortium vessel Persistence. Nice to meet you, Harmony. You folks lost or something. This region isn't exactly tourist-friendly. The casual tone, delivered in perfect universal standard, stunned the bridge crew into silence. Captain Zeltora's four eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of extreme stress in her species. Earth, I'm not familiar with your world or species. Are you comfortable in your vessel's current environment? A strange rhythmic sound came through the speakers that the ship's AI identified as laughter. Oh, we've adjusted the life support to Earth normal conditions. Nothing special, though my engineer keeps complaining that I'm running the temperature too low. He prefers it at least 5 degrees warmer. Science Officer Nex's form rippled with agitation. Captain, he whispered, their normal would liquefy most Union species. Captain Chen, Zeltora continued, our scans indicate your vessel is operating in conditions that would be challenging for most species. May I ask how your life forms evolved to withstand such extremes? Another laugh. Extremes? We've actually had to dial back on our mining operations because this nebula is interfering with some of our more sensitive equipment. As for how we evolved, on Earth, of course, Pretty standard terrestrial planet from what I understand, though I spent most of my life in space. Zeltora exchanged glances with her officers. Standards seem to have very different meanings across species. Would it be possible to arrange a meeting between our vessels? Zeltora asked. We would be honored to learn more about your people. Sure thing, Captain Chen replied easily. Though I should warn you, we run Earth normal conditions throughout the ship. If that's a problem for you folks, we've got a few environmental suits you could borrow. They're a bit clunky, but they'll keep you alive. The irony wasn't lost on Zeltora. In nearly every first contact scenario in Union history, it was the Union that offered environmental protection to newly discovered species. We will bring our own environmental gear, she assured Captain Chen. Shall we say 1 standard rotation from now? Sounds good. Persistence out. As the communication ended, the bridge erupted in excited conversation. A Death World species with interstellar capability. News next. The implications are significant. Security Chief Vex was less philosophical. We should inform Union Command immediately. If these humans have established a presence in multiple star systems without our knowledge, they represent a potential security threat. Zeltora raised a crystalline limb for silence. We will follow first contact protocols. I will lead a delegation to their vessel. Next, Vex, you will accompany me, along with Medical Officer Trill. And yes, we will notify Union Command, but I will not approach these humans with fear and suspicion. That is not our way. 20 standard hours later, the Union shuttle docked with the Persistence. Captain Zeltora led her team through the airlock, their environmental suits humming with the effort of maintaining a safe internal atmosphere. The moment they stepped aboard the human vessel, they felt the crushing gravity through their suit compensators. The heat was uncomfortable even through their protection. Captain Maya Chen waited for them in the docking bay, a sight that immediately challenged everything Zeltora thought she knew about evolutionary biology. The human was bipedal, with no obvious defensive adaptations, no exoskeleton, no thick hide, no extra limbs for stability or defense. She had patches of dark fiber growing from her head, and her skin was a light brown color that seemed terribly exposed. Her only protection was a simple fabric covering that left her limbs and face completely vulnerable to the environment. Welcome aboard the Persistence, Captain Chen said, extending a 5-digit appendage in what their cultural database suggested was a greeting gesture. Zeltora attempted to mimic the motion through her suit's mechanical interface. Thank you for your hospitality, Captain. Please, call me Maya. Follow me to the conference room. I've got coffee and some snacks set up, though I'm guessing you won't be partaking through those suits. As they followed Maya through the corridors of the Persistence, the Union delegation was struck by the rugged utilitarian design. Exposed pipes carrying what their scanners identified as superheated steam ran along the ceilings. Open panels revealed circuitry that would discharge lethal electrical currents to most species. Workers moved through the halls without protection, some even carrying containers of what appeared to be highly corrosive chemicals. In one corridor, they passed a human using a cutting tool that sprayed sparks, wearing only a simple transparent face shield for protection. The heat from the tool would have melted Zeltora's exoskeleton on contact. The conference room was small but functional. Images adorned the walls, landscapes that seemed impossibly hostile. One showed a vast body of water with enormous waves crashing against rock formations. Another displayed a terrain of red sand under a merciless sun. A third depicted a frozen wasteland of white. Are these representations of Earth? Nex asked, his scanner working overtime to analyze the images. Just some places I visited, Maya replied casually. The beaches of Hawaii, the Australian outback, and Antarctica during my college research trip. Earth has pretty much everything. The Union delegation exchanged glances through their helmets. Each environment depicted would be classified as hostile to life by Union standards. So, Maya said, leaning back in her chair with a steaming cup of dark liquid, what brings the Galactic Union to our little corner of space? We've been operating in this region for almost 5 years, and haven't run into anyone else. Zeltora's answer was careful, diplomatic. The Union explores space to discover new life and establish peaceful relations between species. We had no record of your people until now. Ha! Maya took a sip from her cup, apparently untroubled by the scalding temperature of the liquid. Well, Earth has been sending out ships for about 75 years now. Nothing fancy at first, just solar system exploration. We've established colonies on Mars, Europa, and Titan, plus mining operations in a dozen star systems. Pretty small scale compared to your Union, I'm guessing. And all humans come from this Earth? Nex asked. Yep. Home sweet home. About 8 billion of us, last census. The number stunned the delegation. Most Union species numbered in the millions at most, carefully balanced with their planetary ecosystems. 8 billion individuals on a single death. Vex caught herself. On a single planet. Maya raised an eyebrow. Is that unusual? Most habitable worlds support much smaller populations, Zeltora explained. Resources and environmental constraints typically limit growth. Maya shrugged. We've had our challenges. Overcrowding, resource wars, climate difficulties. But humans are pretty adaptable. We figure things out. Medical Officer Trill, who had been silent until now, finally spoke. Captain Chen, our scans indicate that your species has unusual physiological traits. Your cellular structure shows remarkable resistance to radiation, temperature extremes, and toxic substances. May I ask how your species evolved these adaptations? Maya looked genuinely confused. I wouldn't say we're particularly resistant to anything. Radiation gives us cancer. Extreme temperatures kill us. Plenty of chemicals are toxic to humans. Yet you exist comfortably in an environment that would kill most Union species within minutes. Trill pointed out. One person's comfort is another's hell, I guess, Maya said with another shrug. Look, I'm no evolutionary biologist, but Earth isn't exactly a gentle place. We've got everything from Arctic tundra to scorching deserts, from the bottom of the ocean to the highest mountains. Life finds a way, as they say. The conversation continued for several hours, with Maya answering questions about human physiology, society, and technology with remarkable openness. The Union delegation learned that humans had developed space travel using chemical propellants, a method considered too dangerous by most Union species. They discovered that humans routinely ingested substances that would be lethal to others, for nutrition or even pleasure. They heard stories of human explorers surviving conditions that defied belief. By the time they returned to the Harmony, Captain Zeltora had reached a conclusion that would forever change the Union's understanding of the galaxy. Send a priority message to Union Command, she instructed Communications Officer Leary. Inform them that we have made first contact with a Class 15 Death World species called humans. They are numerous, technologically advanced, and apparently unaware of their exceptional nature. I am recommending an immediate diplomatic mission to their homeworld. As the message was transmitted across the vast distances of space, Zeltora stared at the view screen where the human vessel continued its work, oblivious to the fact that its very existence challenged everything the Union thought it knew about life in the universe. And Leary, she added after a moment, informed them that despite all evidence to the contrary, these humans appear to be peaceful. The turning point. Grand Ambassador Vela of the Galactic Union stood in the shuttle bay of the diplomatic vessel Serenity, watching his team make final preparations for their descent to the planet below. After 3 months of communication, arrangements, and careful planning, the first official Union delegation was about to set foot on Earth. Final environmental checks complete, Ambassador, reported Dr. Mori, the expedition's chief cynobiologist. Our suits are operating at maximum protection. Vela's translucent membranes rippled with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. As a Cerebian, he had evolved on a world of perfect harmony, consistent temperatures, gentle gravity, filtered radiation, and like most Union species, his physiology was adapted for optimal efficiency rather than survival in harsh conditions. Very good, Doctor, Vela replied. And the security contingent. Commander Kraz, the expedition's military advisor, stepped forward. His armored exoskeleton clicked softly as he moved. 6 officers, all equipped with defensive capabilities only, as agreed with the humans. Though I must again register my concern about meeting on their territory. Vela's membranes pulsed with irritation. Your concerns have been noted multiple times, Commander. We are guests here, and we will respect their customs. The journey from the Serenity to Earth's surface took less than an hour. As their shuttle broke through the cloud layer, the Union delegation pressed against the viewports, taking in their first glimpse of the infamous Death World. Magnificent, whispered Dr. Mori, her compound eyes dilating in wonder. Below them stretched a landscape of startling contrasts. Vast blue oceans, green and brown landmasses, swirling white cloud patterns, and polar ice caps. From orbit, Earth looked deceivingly peaceful, even welcoming. Sensors are detecting extreme weather systems on 3 continents, reported the shuttle pilot. Violent electrical storms, cyclonic wind patterns, and volcanic activity. And the humans live through all of this? Asked one of the junior diplomats. Not just live, they thrive, Dr. Mori replied. According to their data packet, humans have established settlements in virtually every environment on their planet, from equatorial deserts to polar regions, from sea level to high altitudes where oxygen is scarce. The shuttle descended toward a coastal city the humans called Vancouver, which had been selected as the meeting site for its moderate climate, a term that had caused considerable debate among Union scientists, as even this region experienced temperature variations that would require significant life support for most Union species. They landed on a designated pad near a collection of buildings overlooking a large body of water. A small group of humans waited for them, standing casually in the open air despite the precipitation falling from the sky, water droplets that their sensors indicated were mildly acidic. Ambassador Vela led his team down the shuttle ramp, their environmental suits humming with the effort of maintaining safe conditions. The gravity was punishing, nearly twice what most of them were accustomed to, and the atmospheric pressure felt like a constant weight pressing against their bodies. A human stepped forward from the greeting party. Ambassador Vela, welcome to Earth. I'm Secretary General Elena Rodriguez of the United Earth Government. Vela performed the formal 12-point greeting of the Union, which the Secretary General attempted to mirror with her limited appendages. The honor is ours, Secretary General. Your world is remarkable. Elena smiled, revealing the flat, blunt teeth that seemed so inadequate as defensive features. We're thrilled to host you. If you'll follow me, we've prepared a welcoming ceremony inside. As they walked toward the main building, Dr. Mori discreetly scanned their surroundings. Plants of incredible diversity grew everywhere, many with defensive thorns or toxic properties. Small flying creatures darted through the air, some of which contained venom potent enough to kill certain Union species. Even the soil beneath their feet teemed with microscopic life forms that could devastate unprepared biology. Inside the building, the humans had attempted to create a more comfortable environment for their visitors, though the room still maintained what they called shirt-sleeve conditions, a temperature and humidity range that required the Union delegates to remain in their protective gear. The welcoming ceremony was brief but cordial. Various human leaders spoke of peace, cooperation, and the excitement of joining a larger galactic community. Ambassador Vela responded with the Union's traditional messages of harmony and shared progress. After the formalities, Secretary General Rodriguez led them to a viewing platform overlooking the city and the vast ocean beyond. Vancouver is one of our younger cities, she explained, only about 150 Earth years old in its current form. We selected it for your visit because of its stable geology and mild weather. Commander Kraz's sensors flashed warning signals as he gazed at the scene. Those mountains in the distance, our scans indicate they are formed by tectonic activity. Yes, the coastal range, Elena confirmed casually, part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. We get minor earthquakes occasionally, but nothing serious in recent decades. The Union delegation exchanged glances through their visors. The casual dismissal of planetary instability was jarring to species who had evolved on worlds of geological calm. "And that body of water?" asked Dr. Mori, indicating the vast expanse of blue stretching to the horizon. "The Pacific Ocean," Alina replied. "It covers almost half our planet. Depths up to 11 kilometers in places. Extraordinary pressure," murmured Dr. Mori. "And yet you mentioned humans explore these depths." "We've been doing so for centuries," Alina said with obvious pride. "Our deepest submersibles can reach the bottom of even the Mariana Trench. We've established research stations and mining operations underwater." The tour continued through the afternoon, with the humans showcasing aspects of their civilization they clearly thought would impress their visitors: transportation systems, energy production facilities, agricultural methods. To the Union delegation, each revelation was more astonishing than the last, not for the technology itself, which was relatively primitive by Union standards, but for the conditions under which it operated. They witnessed humans working comfortably in environments ranging from refrigerated storage facilities, cold enough to crystallize a cerebrion's cellular structure, to manufacturing plants where the heat would melt a Luridian's exoskeleton. They observed humans casually handling substances that would dissolve most Union species' protective coverings and breathing air, filled with particulates that would clog exotic respiratory systems. During a meal break, where the humans consumed their food in the open while the Union delegates took nutrition supplements through their suits, Alina addressed the elephant in the room. "Ambassador, I sense a certain fascination from your team regarding aspects of Earth that seem ordinary to us. May I ask what you find so remarkable?" Vela considered his response carefully. "Secretary General, in the Union's history of exploring the galaxy, we have categorized worlds based on their habitability. Earth would be classified as what we term a Class 15 world, a designation reserved for planets with conditions we consider extremely challenging for intelligent life to evolve upon." Alina raised her eyebrows. "A death world, you mean?" "We've picked up that term from your team's communications." Vela's membranes flushed with embarrassment. "An unfortunate colloquialism, but yes, the combination of your planet's gravity, atmospheric composition, temperature variations, geological instability, radiation levels, diverse pathogens, and predatory life forms would be considered hostile to most Union species." Alina laughed, a sound the Union delegates had come to recognize as an expression of amusement rather than aggression. "And here we've been trying to make you comfortable, thinking Earth was too fragile and gentle compared to your worlds." The irony hung in the air between them, bridging the vast evolutionary gulf that separated their species. "I hope this doesn't affect our potential relationship with the Union," Alina added, her expression growing serious. "On the contrary," Vela assured her, "your species' adaptability and resilience are remarkable traits that would be highly valued in the Union." Before Alina could respond, the ground beneath them trembled violently. Lights flickered, and objects fell from shelves. The Union delegates struggled to maintain their balance in the punishing gravity as alarms began to sound throughout the building. "Earthquake," Alina said, her demeanor instantly shifting from diplomatic to commanding. "Magnitude 8.4, epicenter just off the coast. Tsunami warning in effect." Commander Kraz's battle reflexes engaged immediately. "Back to the shuttle. We must evacuate." But Alina was already moving in the opposite direction. "No time. That wave will hit before your shuttle can clear the coastline. We need to get to higher ground." Vela made an instant decision. "We follow the Secretary General's lead." What followed was a lesson in human crisis management that would be studied in Union academies for generations to come. The humans didn't panic. They moved with practiced efficiency, directing not only their own people, but also helping the Union delegates whose suits struggled with the changing conditions. As they evacuated to higher ground, Vela witnessed scenes that defied his understanding of rational behavior. Humans ran back into damaged buildings to rescue trapped individuals. Emergency workers moved toward the danger rather than away from it. Ordinary citizens formed chains to help others climb to safety. From their elevated position, they watched as an enormous wall of water, a tsunami triggered by the underwater earthquake, crashed into the coastline below. Buildings designed to withstand such forces flexed but held. Water management systems automatically deployed, channeling the destructive energy away from critical infrastructure. "Your structures were designed for this?" Dr. Mori asked in amazement. "Of course," replied a human emergency coordinator who had joined them. "This region experiences major seismic events every few decades. We build accordingly." For the next 12 hours, the Union delegation observed as humans responded to what they would consider a planetary catastrophe with what could only be described as practiced routine. Emergency teams deployed from around the globe. Rescue operations began immediately. Medical facilities treated the injured with remarkable efficiency. Most astonishing to the Union observers was not just the physical resilience of the humans, though watching them wade through contaminated floodwaters or lift fallen debris that would crush most Union species was impressive enough. It was their psychological adaptation to crisis that truly demonstrated the unique nature of Death World evolution. Ambassador Vela found Secretary General Elena coordinating relief efforts from a mobile command center, seemingly tireless despite having been awake for over 24 hours. "Secretary General, my team is prepared to return to our vessel if our presence is complicating your emergency response," Vela offered. Elena looked up from her displays. "Nonsense, Ambassador. This is perhaps the most authentic introduction to humanity you could have received. Besides," she added with a tired smile, "your medical team has been extraordinarily helpful with their advanced diagnostic equipment." It was true. Once the initial shock had passed, Dr. Mori and her assistants had volunteered their medical scanners, which could detect internal injuries more effectively than human technology. They worked alongside human doctors, their environmental suits now stained with the various fluids of human biology. "I must confess," Vela said quietly, "when the Union received the first reports about a Death World species achieving space travel, many of our strategists were concerned about the implications." Elena's expression grew serious. "You thought we might be conquerors. The theoretical models suggested that any species evolving under such harsh conditions would necessarily develop aggressive expansion tendencies," Vela admitted. Elena gestured toward the scene below them, where humans of all types worked together to rescue and rebuild. "And what do you see now, Ambassador? Cooperation, altruism, sacrifice for others." Vela's membranes pulsed with emotion. "Traits the Union values above all others, but rarely sees expressed so intensely." 3 days later, as the initial crisis phase ended and recovery operations were well underway, the Union delegation prepared to return to the Serenity. The diplomatic meetings that had been planned would be rescheduled, but both sides agreed that the unexpected events had provided a more valuable exchange than any formal discussions could have achieved. Before departing, Ambassador Vela presented Secretary General Rodriguez with a formal invitation for Earth to join the Galactic Union, not as a probationary member as originally planned, but with full status, an unprecedented honor for a newly contacted species. "The Union has much to learn from humanity," Vela explained as he presented the crystalline document. "Your adaptability, your resilience, your ability to thrive in conditions others find impossible. These are qualities that will strengthen us all." Elena accepted the invitation with appropriate ceremony. "And we have much to learn from the Union. Your technology, your peaceful cooperation across species, your ancient wisdom, these are qualities humanity aspires to." As the Union shuttle lifted off from Earth, carrying the delegation back to the Serenity, Dr. Mori joined Ambassador Vela at the viewport for a final look at the blue-green planet below. "A remarkable world," she said, her scientific detachment failing to hide her wonder. "Indeed," Vela agreed. "But even more remarkable is that such a world produced not monsters, but beings capable of compassion and self-sacrifice." It challenges everything we thought we knew about evolutionary psychology, Maury mused. Our theories suggested that a death world species would be inherently aggressive, focused on competition rather than cooperation. Vela's membranes rippled thoughtfully. Perhaps it is precisely because their world is so dangerous that humans learn to work together. Perhaps hardship does not only breed strength, but also unity. As the shuttle docked with the Serenity, Vela drafted his official report to the Union Council. His recommendation was clear. Humanity represented not a threat to the Galactic Union, but its future. Their unique evolution on a world that forged both physical resilience and cooperative spirit made them ideal partners in the greater galaxy. The final paragraph of his report would be quoted in Union texts for centuries to come. We have long defined advancement by the gentleness of the environments we create, by our ability to eliminate hardship and challenge. The humans of Earth show us another path, one where adversity is not eliminated but embraced, where difficulty breeds not just survival but profound compassion. In their crucible world, they have forged qualities we have forgotten how to cultivate. They remind us that comfort is not the only path to civilization, that struggle can create not just strength, but wisdom. The Union has much to teach humanity, but perhaps even more to learn. 6 months later, Earth formally joined the Galactic Union. Within 5 years, human crews served on Union vessels, their unique physiology allowing them to undertake missions in environments previously considered too hazardous for exploration. Human colonies became diplomatic hubs where diverse species could meet under the protection of beings adapted to withstand virtually any planetary condition. And throughout the galaxy, Union species began to reconsider their understanding of evolution, civilization, and the true meaning of strength. The Death World humans had not conquered the stars through aggression as feared, but had instead brought something far more powerful, the unbreakable spirit forged only in the crucible of adversity.